welcome to Church at Home.
G'day. If you're a regular around this place,
Yeah.
we're sitting on other sides.
Yeah.
Normally I sit over there.
If you're not, we just look very, very normal.
If you're thrown, you could lie backwards on your couch, like upside down, and then we'd be upside down, but on the right side.
Oh, that's, yeah, okay.
But we would be upside
Hang
down.
on, and then if I did this,
Yeah.
then it could be perfect.
Perfect.
If you're just tuning in, we're so sorry for that. Maybe go look at some past episodes and that'll make sense to you. Anyway, we're glad that you tuned in today and hope you haven't turned us off already.
Welcome. Yes. Yeah.
Hey, look, we have a great place here, don't we?
We do.
Gateway Church is wonderful. We absolutely love it, and we would love you to get to connect in to this place even more than you are. So there's lots of ways you can do that.
Yeah, we'd love to connect with you in person in life groups,
Yes.
which are groups of people who meet in people's homes, usually about 10 to 15 people or something. We talk about Jesus, catch up on our weeks, you know, the highs and the lows, do some prayer, do a bit of a study generally. We do hot chocolates.
Yep. I was going to say there's usually food involved. Which you will discover that food or hot chocolates or coffee are involved in pretty much every aspect of ministry and life here.
Yes, one big feast.
It's what we do.
Yeah.
There's also, if you are into fitness or even if you just want to move a little bit more, we have the active ministry, which has things like netball, ride club, run.
riding.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the netball. I'm a netball gal myself.
Love it.
You're a runner,
I like the run club. We
Yeah.
leave from Project One in Frankston.
Yeah.
We run, and then we run back to Project One and we have coffees.
Yeah.
And it's the best.
Yeah.
It's like gives you a purpose to run.
That's the only downside of netball for me is that there's no way to incorporate food into it. Because if you eat beforehand, you feel like you're going to vomit.
Yeah.
And if we just don't eat afterwards.
You can eat afterwards.
I could eat afterwards.
Make it happen.
We actually have talked about going to get ice cream afterwards, and we've failed every week to do that. But I think we will. Maybe.
It could be good. Yeah. So come for a walk, a ride, netball, whatever.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you moving around with us.
Get involved. So good.
Yeah. One of the other things we love to do around this place is playgroup.
Yes.
I've never been.
Yeah, because you don't have small children.
Yes.
So, yep, that's probably good. But if you do have small children, it's an amazing place. You can get together, have a chat with the other parents who are there. The kids get to play together. There's great toys out. And it's just a good way to connect with other people who are in that same stage of life as you.
Yep.
And you can talk about sleepless nights and be interrupted with your conversation about 17,000 times by the small children asking for things. But it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Another wonderful thing that we have coming up, and it's exciting me so much, and we can finally talk about it. Christmas festivities are starting.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
I just left him hanging there. I don't do singing in public. It's not good. Everyone would turn
it get all out. We're all in. Join carols.
Look, you may think it's too early to start talking about Christmas. St. John certainly does. He was giving us dirty looks before. But we are fully on board with Christmas festivities starting early. So keep your eyes peeled. It's all going to be on the app soon.
Yeah.
So much fun stuff to come.
We love it.
Yeah.
We love it.
As we said, with everything here, you can head to the app to see all the details of the things that you can get involved in, the ways that you can, there's many more than we've talked about, and there's lots of events coming up. So head to the app.
It's the app. It's all in
Have
there.
a look in the events tile.
Yeah, a couple of big things coming up in the app. One of the other things is Deep Dive.
Yes.
You can check that out. Let's watch a video.
Yeah.
Hey friends, coming off our series on Walking the Narrow Way, we wanted to offer you a chance to dive deeper into your understanding of the Bible. How we read this book well is crucial to the way that we grow in our spiritual wisdom. So we're going to be gathering at Gateway on Monday nights through November. 2 weeks on better ways to discern what the Bible is saying to us, and 2 weeks on the theology of inclusion. And you can sign up through the Gateway app under the events tile. Let's seek the wisdom of God together.
Ooh,
love it.
Does look good.
Keen. I love a deep dive. And she explained that way better than I could have.
Yes, correct. That was a good call to throw to the video. They probably figured that was going to happen. So, yeah. But yeah, make sure you get involved if that interests you. You can head to the app to do that. It's kicking off tomorrow night.
It's snuck up.
Yep.
Snuck up.
Everything has snuck up this year. It's gone very quickly.
Yep.
Do you know what else will sneak up? Baptisms happening later this month. It will be amazing. We've got so many people getting baptized. So if you can, get to the in-person church to watch them get dunked. But if you can't, you can watch it on Church at Home, and it will be powerful either way.
Yep. I will have my tear ducts prepared.
Oh, same. Bring in the
Because
tissues
I love
every
to
time.
cry, hearing people's stories, how
me too.
Jesus has made a big impact on them.
So
It's good.
powerful.
It's perfect for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also love giving around this place.
Yes.
Jesus loves giving. We love giving. He talks about it a bunch, so we talk about it too.
Yeah.
It's a good way to just get your heart postured right.
Yeah.
It's like good to give back.
Yep.
You know, Jesus gave to us first, and it's nice to be able to contribute, build things that he's doing around this place and around the world.
Yeah. And to know
just
that
love
your
it.
money's going towards helping people.
Yeah.
And doing some good in the world
Yeah.
as well.
It's
love
just a
that.
fantastic thing to do.
Yeah. I agree.
And thank you to everyone who does do that week in and week out and help support everything that we're doing
Yeah.
around here and everything that God's doing in like this entire community, like across Big C Church, across the churches of Frankston and across the world. It makes a big impact. So
It's
thank
huge.
you.
And look, we did reference this before. We're starting our last series for the year, which is the season of Advent.
Oh,
it's Christmas happening already.
Oh, how advantageous of us.
Oh, nicely done.
Oh.
Now, there is a reason for this. We're not just being over enthusiastic, but you know, the season of, December is crazy, especially in the church calendar. We've got so many awesome events coming up. We wanted to give you guys a time to reflect and to actually remember what Christmas is really about in that lead up to the crazy season. So this is our time to really soak in the meaning of Christmas and what Jesus has done for us, before we get all distracted and hopped up on sugar and Santa and all the other things. Because that's probably going to happen, and that's okay too. But this week, Marcy is bringing the word on hope, which I am so looking forward to.
Sounds ex-Advent. I don't know, it's a bit of a stretch.
We'll work on our puns.
We're getting there.
Next week.
We're getting there. Can't wait to hear from Marcy, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you then.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Church at Home. You know, one of the great traditions of the Christian church is to divide the year into seasons. And these seasons follow the life of Jesus, and they encourage us to sit with the grand stories that guide our faith. You may have heard of these, the season of Lent, the season of Easter, the season of Pentecost, and of course, Christmas. The season of Advent is the time leading up to Christmas, where we prepare our hearts for the coming of the King. I was at Chadstone this week and the decorations are already up. Yeah. My first thought was, can you believe how early they're pushing us to spend money? But my second thought was, isn't it so kind of the management of Chadstone to remind my heart that the season of remembering is here, remembering that God loved us so much that he came to live amongst us. I know that that's what the management wanted everyone in Melbourne to feel when they walked into that palace of consumerism. They wanted them to know that Jesus the Christ child is on the way. Well, maybe not, but I thought if the shops can start Advent early, then so can we. So today we begin the season of Advent by lighting the first candle of Advent. And that's the candle of hope. This has traditionally been the first of the gifts of Christmas. Those gifts are hope, peace, joy, and love. And wouldn't we all swap every gift we have ever been given for hope, peace, joy, and love? Well, I want to talk a bit about hope today. How do you keep yourself hopeful, living in this atmosphere of hope about the future? Well, we could do a lot of self-talk. Don't worry, it's all going to be okay. But some of us, even this year, have sat through some dark times when it has not been okay. Just wishing upon a star is not going to bring us the hope that we need. We need something more solid, more true. Now, here is the solid rock that I base my hope on, and I know many of you who are listening might say amen. Firstly, there is a God who is the guiding intelligence of the universe. And I know that that God is not an absent father who created and left us to our own destruction, but a loving, personal being that fills this world with his presence. And how do I know that he is loving? Because I believe he entered our world as a baby that first Christmas around 6 AD. That he grew to be a man who taught us by his words and example what God is like. Love, peace, reconciliation, grace, open arms of welcome. I believe he was murdered by the Roman Empire, but miraculously came back to life. Now, how could I believe that? Because historical evidence reports on the eyewitness accounts of many hundreds of people who saw him. There is no other explanation that historians can give us for the incredible explosion of the early church in the first century if it was built on a lie and Christ was not miraculously raised. And this same Jesus has told us that God's plan for this world is to restore all things to the way God intended. No more war or suffering or evil, just the kingdom of God reigning in all of its beauty. And everyone, and I mean everyone, is invited to the party. And for those of us who accept the truth of Jesus as Lord of our life, the party has already started. We live in such joyful hope that this broken world is not all there is. A better day is coming and we will live in his kingdom. Mic drop. Now, with this solid hope, we can walk through the valleys knowing that the sun will shine again. This is what I believe deep down in my soul. But honestly, do I feel hope every day? It can be a battle sometimes. Where do we find the inspiration to hope when our rational mind sees only dead ends and broken dreams? It's been a really difficult year for me, both personally and in ministry. So I have had to practice what I preach and find ways to keep myself encouraged and hopeful. Sometimes in the last couple of weeks, I've seen the young leaders looking at me and asking, "Are you okay? Are you going to give up? You've told us this is worth giving our lives for, but is it really?" I find that God will send me to Scripture to encourage me, but so often he brings me to my knees with the gifts of my imagination. It'll be a fleeting sunset, or a tender scene in a movie, or even a painting that can just undo me. There's a famous story in the book of Ezekiel in the Old Testament where he's in a terrible place, a really depressing place, enemies on every side. And he has this famous vision of this valley of dry bones that comes alive and they become living, breathing people again. And he says in that book, the Lord took hold of him and took him to a place where he could see into the realm of the Spirit, into the realm of hope. Now, I want to share with you some stories that have taken hold of me, that God's Spirit has used to fill me with hope. So the first story is actually a bit of a side story from the one we know of the first Christmas. And we'll find it in the eyewitness account of the book of Luke. Now, after the events of the birth of Jesus, we see Joseph and Mary taking the baby to the temple to be circumcised, as was the Jewish custom. And there was a man there named Simeon. The Bible says he was a faithful, believing man who was filled with God's Spirit. And the Spirit had told him that he would not die until he had seen Emmanuel, God come down. Can you imagine him sitting in the temple and seeing Joseph and Mary walk towards him with the baby Jesus. And his spirit came alive, and he knew this was the one God had been telling him about. He took the baby and he said, "You can let me die now in peace. With my own eyes I have seen what I've been waiting for. God, you have sent your salvation." But there is another intriguing side character. There's not much in the Bible about her, but we can use our imagination to expand on her story. And these verses are also found in Luke. Anna, the prophetess, was also there, a daughter of Phanuel from the tribe of Asher. She was by now a very old woman. She had been married 7 years and a widow for 84. She never left the temple area, worshipping night and day with her fastings and prayers. At the very time Simeon was praying, she showed up, broke into an anthem of praise to God, and talked about the child to all who were waiting expectantly for the freeing of Jerusalem. Now on your screen is an image of a Rembrandt painting. Now, it's actually called Old Woman Reading the Scriptures, but we believe that he was actually painting Anna the prophetess, and he painted her many times over his painting life. Now, this woman was probably over 100 years old, and in that culture, she would have been a miracle to be that old. She never gave up. She never gave up on the promise that she would see the Messiah. She waited and waited and waited. Can you imagine what other people thought of her? They probably thought she was just this crazy old crone. And then finally, the child. What have you been hanging on for years? Just hanging on to the hope that something would happen. I can't promise that it will happen for you like it did for Anna. But I do know that if you have pleaded with God about it, He has heard you and you are in His care. Maybe that's the greatest fulfillment of hope anyone could ask for. Now, the second story I want to read to you is very precious to me because, in a way, it's part of the fulfillment of the promise of the Christ child 2,000 years later. You know, Anna looked into the future and saw what God was going to do, and it allowed her to die in peace, knowing that He was in control. Well, let me read this to you. This is a true story from World War II. Ernest Gordon was a British Army officer in World War II, captured at sea by the Japanese. He was sent to work on the Burma-Siam railway line that the Japanese were constructing through the dense Thai jungle. The scene was straight out of Dante. Naked except for loincloths, the men worked under a broiling sun. Death was commonplace. If a prisoner appeared to be lagging, a Japanese guard would beat him to death in full view of the other prisoners. 80,000 men ultimately died building the railway. Ernest Gordon could feel himself gradually wasting away. Paralysed and unable to eat, Gordon asked to be laid in the death house, where prisoners on the verge of death were laid out in rows until they stopped breathing. He propped himself up on one elbow long enough to write a final letter to his parents and then laid back to await the inevitable. Gordon's friends, though, had other plans. They built a new bamboo addition onto their hut on high ground away from the swamp and installed him in clean quarters for the first time in months. Something was astir in the prison camp, something that Gordon would call the miracle on the River Kwai. For most of the war, prison camp had been a laboratory of survival of the fittest. Every man for himself. Men lived like animals, and hate was the main motivation to stay alive. But recently, a change had come. One event in particular shook the prisoners. Japanese guards carefully counted tools at the end of the day's work, and one day the guard shouted that a shovel was missing. He walks up and down the ranks demanding to know who had stolen it. When no one confessed, he screamed, "All die, all die," and raised his rifle to fire at the first man in line. At that instant, a man stepped forward, stood at attention and said, "I did it." The guard fell on him in a fury, kicking and beating the prisoner until his body was motionless. When the assault finally stopped, the other prisoners picked up their comrade's corpse and marched back to the camp. That evening, when tools were inventoried again, the work crew discovered a mistake. No shovel was missing. One of the prisoners remembered the verse, "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." Attitudes in the camp began to shift. Prisoners started treating the dying with respect. With no prompting, they began looking out for each other rather than themselves. Gordon sensed a change in a very personal way as two fellow Scots volunteered to come each day and care for him. And after weeks of tender care, he put on a little weight and to his amazement regained partial use of his legs. The spirit continued to spread through the camp. Now quoting Gordon from his book, "Death was still with us, but we were slowly being freed from its destructive grip. We were seeing for ourselves a sharp contrast between the forces that made for life and those that made for death. Selfishness, hatred, envy, jealousy, greed, self-indulgence were all anti-life. Love, heroism, self-sacrifice, mercy, integrity, on the other hand, were the essence of life, turning mere existence into living in its truest sense. These were the gifts of God to men. True, there was hatred, but there was also love. There was death, but there was also life. God had not left us. He was with us, calling us to live the divine life in fellowship." The story goes on. As Gordon continued to recover, some of the men, knowing he had studied philosophy, asked him to lead a discussion group in ethics. By default, Gordon became the unofficial camp chaplain. Prisoners built a tiny church, and each evening they gathered to say prayers. The informal discussion group proved so popular that a jungle university began to form. Whoever had expertise in a certain field would teach a course to other students. Prisoners with artistic talents salvaged bits of charcoal from cooking fires to produce enough artwork to mount an exhibition. A few prisoners had smuggled in stringed instruments, and before long a crude orchestra formed. Gordon's book tells of the transformation of individual men in the camp, a transformation so complete that when liberation finally came, the prisoners treated their sadistic guards with kindness and not revenge. You know, I return to this story again and again. This is why Anna rejoiced to see the birth of Jesus. His was the sacrifice that sparked a whole new way of being human. Here is Gordon's description of the crucial intervention of grace. The wind of the Spirit had blown upon us. We could not prove how or whence it had come, but our experience pointed to a source beyond ourselves. We knew personal fulfillment, love, joy, peace, wholeness, as we committed ourselves to the one who called us. Only as we responded to this word did we receive the power to progress towards true humanity. Here's a hope for you. What would our communities look like if the kingdom broke out like that in every place, rippling out from our worship of Jesus? If it broke out into the schools, the kindergartens, the businesses, the sporting clubs, the theatres, the councils, the kingdom is constantly bubbling under the surface. I know people who know Jesus and are bubbling with the spirit of the kingdom as they live with grace and kindness. And I know people who would not acknowledge a faith in Jesus but are also bubbling with grace and kindness. Perhaps they just don't know what the source of that love is and that there is so much more to step into. For those of you listening to me who have accepted the invitation to the kingdom party, we must believe in its power and help others to believe in it too. That's why we exist on this planet. And this fills me with hope. What has God shown you that will keep you anchored in the storm? If you don't have that vision, ask God to take you there, to fill you with courage. Maybe you had it once, but the fire has diminished. He is the eternal flame that never goes out. And that's what this Advent season is all about. Lighting the fire of hope again in our souls. Why? Because He is with us and He is love, and love always wins. In the times when all I have left is a small pilot light, I remember Peter's words when Jesus asked him, "Are you going to stay or are you going to leave?" And he said, "Where else would we go, Lord? Only you have the words, the way to find eternal life." There's hope. Oh, and if you need any more inspiration, watch Lord of the Rings 100 times. So let's finish with one of my favourite clips.
It's like in the great stories, Mr. Frodo. The ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were. And sometimes you didn't want to know the end. Because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad had happened? But in the end, it's only a passing thing. This shadow, even darkness must pass. A new day will come. And when the sun shines, it'll shine out the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you, that meant something, even if you were too small to understand why. But I think, Mr. Frodo, I do understand. I know now. Folk in those stories had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't. They kept going. Because they were holding on to something. What are we holding on to, Sam? There's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo. And it's worth fighting for.
There is some good in this world, and it's worth fighting for. Let me finish with a poem for those who know Jesus and have been through some stuff and have come out still loving God and hopeful about the future. If you are one who has practiced meeting the pain of the world, we need you. Right now, we need you to teach us it is possible to swallow what is weighty and still be able to rise. We need you to remind us we can be furious and scared and near feral over injustice and still thrill at the taste of a strawberry, ripe and sweet. Can still meet a stranger and shake their hand believing in their humanness. We need you to show us how we too can fall into the darkest unplumbed pit and learn there a courage and beauty we could never learn from the light. If you have drowned in sorrow and still have somehow found a way to breathe, please lead us. You are the one with the crumbs we need, the ones we will use to find our way back to the home of our hearts. Jesus.
We'll be a house of joy. We'll be a flag of freedom, waving upon the shore of hope that's beyond all reason. The questions are sure to come, and we still have storms to weather, but anchored within God's love, He's holding us together. Even when the pain feels bigger than the promise, press through, for we know He's good and He is always for us. It's true. At the end of the day, I don't know much, but as sure as the cold and winter snow, I believe He's better than we know. Yeah, He's better than we know. Oh. My dear, I want you to know this is my prayer for you, that the wonder that your eyes hold will show you our God who is true. And I pray you will find His heart to be your forever home. So whenever we're apart, He'll be the place where you go. Even when the pain feels bigger than the promise, press through, for we know He's good and He is always for us. It's true. At the end of the day, I don't know much, but as sure as the spring will bring new growth, I believe He's better than we know. Yeah, He's better than we know. Ooh, la 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 la, He's wonderful. La 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 la, He's wonderful. La 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 la, He's wonderful. He's wonderful. the starry sky, your feet in the grass on a summer night, and know that you're precious in His sight. He's better than we know, He's wonderful. You can hear Him sing with the symphony of the waves that roll in the deep blue sea. His mercy in every breath we breathe. He's better than we know, He's wonderful. And we join our song with the earth He made, creation lifting the highest praise to Jesus, worthy of all our praise. He's better than we know, He's wonderful. La 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 la, you're wonderful. La 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 la, you're wonderful. La 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 la, you're wonderful. Even when the pain feels bigger than the promise, press through. For we know He's good and He is always for us. It's true. At the end of the day, I don't know much, but as sure as the harvest moon will glow, I believe He's better than we know.
May our prayer this morning be to be carried, sustained by no one else and nothing else but You, Lord. Give us a steadiness, a faithfulness in our week to know You and to be known by You. The songs I sing have just become routine, just pretty words, but words that I don't mean. Forgive me, Father, wash my worship clean. You want a steady love. Would I sing the same without the stage and lights? Can I truly call it praise if it needs hype? Test my heart until it's purified. You want a steady love. So keep me burning. You want a steady love. Keep me burning. Help me to never stop. Every morning, noon and night, as a living sacrifice. Keep me burning. You want a steady love. On ordinary days, a love that's always willing to obey, a love that burns in all
and renew a right spirit within me. Oh. So you can light up even the darkest parts of this heart. I give it all up for you. I give it all up so you can light up even the darkest parts of this heart. To fill it all up with you, to fill it all up with Jesus. Come and fill us up. Sing, creating me a clean heart, oh God, and renew a right spirit within me. That's our prayer this morning. Create in me a clean heart, oh God, and renew a right spirit within me. Yes, Lord. And come and light up even the darkest parts of this heart. I give it all up for you. I give it all up so you can light up even the darkest parts of this heart. To fill it all up with you, to fill it all up with Jesus. To fill it all up, fill it all up, fill it all up with Jesus. So fill it all up, fill it all up, fill it all up with Jesus. Fill it all up, fill it all up, fill it all up with Jesus. Fill it all up, fill it all up. So come and light up even the darkest parts of this heart. I give it all up for you. I give it all up so you can light up even the darkest parts of this heart. And fill it all up with you, to fill it all up with Jesus. Fill it all up, fill it all up, fill it all up with Jesus. Fill it all up, fill it all up, fill it all up with Jesus. So fill it all up, fill it all up, fill it all up with Jesus. Fill it all up, fill it all up, Jesus. Come on, fill us up, Lord. Come on, fill us up. Oh, have your way, Lord. Oh, Lord, oh, Jesus. So come and light up even the darkest parts of this heart. I give it all up for you. I give it all up so you can light up even the darkest parts of this heart. To fill it all up with you, to fill it all up with Jesus.
When I look back, I can see your hand all over my past. Even in the times I'd rather forget, I just can't believe you'd love me like that, love me like that. You never let go. Thought I was alone, now I know you were close. I can see it now, you were bringing me home. I just can't believe you'd love me like that, love me like that. Oh, every day gets better when I'm walking with you. Oh, you're my hope forever, what a beautiful view. I will my past. Even in the times I'd rather forget. I just can't believe you'd love me like that, love me like that. You never let go. Thought I was alone, now I know you were close. I can see it now, you were bringing me home. I just can't believe you'd love me like that, love me like that. Oh, every day gets better when I'm walking with you. You're my hope forever, what a beautiful view. I will give you praise for the things you've done, and every single way that you've shown me love. God, you have only just begun, so come on, there's so much better to come. So much better to come. So much better to come. You never left me. You always helped me. Got through the fire. I find my strength when I'm walking beside you. You never left